Hello everybody, my name is Waddles. I hope you're doing well today. The Update Aquatic was absolutely massive, perhaps even being the largest update Minecraft ever received up to its release. And of course, a large update means tons and tons of new features, and tons of new features means plenty of new building opportunities. And I have been receiving quite a few requests for a building or decoration type of video, so today I present you 50 Update Aquatic building or decoration ideas. The idea with this video is each and every decoration incorporates something that was new in the 1.13 update. So if you enjoy the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn those notifications on so you never miss an upload from me, Waddles. And with that out of the way, let's get into the ideas. Idea number 1. A fish tank. I thought it was absolutely fitting to start this Update Aquatic build idea video with something that's water themed. So right here I have a very basic fish tank, as you can see, using trapdoors. But wait, it doesn't stop there. Idea number 2 is a larger fish tank. You can of course use trapdoors along with water to make an even larger fish tank. Now for bonus points, add in some tropical fish and name them so they don't despawn, and you'll have a pretty nice fish tank. Tridents make an absolutely wonderful selector or pointer when you put these things in an item frame. Perhaps you have some kind of secret redstone door or something. Well, the trident might be the way to go. Remember that you can pull the redstone signal out of an item frame with an item in it if you put a comparator behind the block that frame is on. Aha, but that's not the only use for tridents. Tridents also look like an absolutely wonderful duster. And one more trident idea for now is a fork. Of course, we have spoons in the game, but we never had such an amazing fork until now. An idea that I haven't really seen a whole lot of talk about, and I'm not too sure why, are these bowls. Coral fans, pretty much any variant, make an excellent looking plate or bowl for your fancy dinner party. And alongside those plates and bowls, you will absolutely need some cups for your guests, so go ahead and collect up some sea pickles from the ocean as well. Turtle eggs make an interestingly wonderful path marker. If you blend these turtle eggs in with some cobblestone slabs and some stone buttons, you have a very cool looking rock, and again, something to kind of line your paths with. But do remember the turtle eggs can hatch on sand, so you'll need to have something below the turtle egg that they can't hatch on, like wood. Aha! A wandering trader is here. You don't know what that is yet. It's still 1.13. Sea pickles make an absolutely wonderful prank pumpkin stem. Or, thanks to someone on Reddit who realized this months ago, sea pickles make a wonderful melon stem as well. Using sea pickles in this way will definitely step up your gardens and make things just a little bit more fancy. While we're thanking Reddit, we might as well thank them again for this next wonderful idea. The 1.13 update allows item frames to be placed on the floor and the ceiling. So for this one, we'll need a furnace and then a frame on top of that. And then inside of that frame goes any kind of food that you happen to be cooking at that moment. Then go ahead and grab a detector rail and throw it on the side of the block. Don't look right at the frame, and boom, you have one fine looking stovetop. Item frames also make excellent plates. Throw an item frame down on your table and put some food in that frame, and then a pressure plate on top of that. Step on it or don't, and then you have some wonderful fresh food, I hope, on a plate. On the note of pressure plates and item frames, you can use both of those things to make a wonderful hidden switch. Just go ahead and throw an item frame down, a pressure plate on top of that, and then step on that plate, and that plate will stay always activated. Of course, with item frames going everywhere, you will absolutely need to make a fancy globe, but do yours a little better than mine. Don't put the same map on every side. That's not how a globe works. If you're into more evil building ideas, this one is for you. Right here we have a terrible poison trap. All that's going on here is a waterlogged trapdoor with a pufferfish hiding down inside of here. Make sure you name your pufferfish so it doesn't despawn, and if you do all of that, you can absolutely poison your friends and prank them like an evil genius. 1.13 gave pots the ability to go on pretty much anything, so grab a pot and put it on a fence post and you have a fancy flower pot. You can even hang that flower pot on the wall for even more decoration. Of course, pretty much every new trapdoor makes a wonderful trash can. Pair it with podzol or soul sand, and you probably have something that's a little stinky. Or you can use the spruce trapdoors to make a wonderful barrel, because remember, it's 1.13. We don't know the barrels are coming in 1.14 yet. Wait, what? Jungle trapdoors look like an excellent diver helmet. I like to hide an observer below these, but you could put a pumpkin in there or absolutely nothing at all. You tell me this doesn't look like some old-timey diver helmet from SpongeBob, though. Actually, don't tell me that, because that's not true. An idea that I'm absolutely sure you've seen already would be a water trough. Take some stairs and link them all up, that could be really any size, and then waterlog all of them to have an excellent drinking area for the wandering trader llamas that don't exist yet. Pairing some waterlogged stairs with a magma block makes an excellent hot tub that is definitely just a little bit too hot. We should probably let that cool down a little bit. And in the instance of this hot tub, I do recommend some quartz stairs. I think this just really pulls out the hot tub vibe the most, but it's totally up to you. I mean, I don't know, maybe you want a wooden hot tub. Or you can take pretty much that same idea and turn the thing into a wonderful fountain. So again, a square of waterlogged stairs, except the corner stairs are not waterlogged. In the center, I have a fence going up that is waterlogged as well, so the water kind of just pours down into these other stairs, and then makes a really nice fountain. I went ahead and added some fancy birch trapdoors on the outside of the thing, just to make this fountain look a little better, because, in my opinion, that looks a little weird. The water mechanics are a little tricky to work with, but play around with it, and I'm sure you can copy this thing block for block. Birch trapdoors also make an excellent looking shutter on the outside of your builds. An idea that I don't see as much as I think I should is right here in front of us. Spruce trapdoors make an excellent fake beam. If you're tight on space, spruce trapdoors make an excellent fake beam on your wall. You could also use these trapdoors for decorating the bottom of your build and perhaps pull these beams out. It's totally up to you, but spruce trapdoors are a really nice looking block for things like fake beams and fake bottoms. The new stripped logs make an excellent path detailing block. I would recommend you use path blocks and then sprinkle in this case, some stripped oak, but stripped jungle wood, stripped spruce wood, and stripped birch wood work very well in this setting as well. The brand new bark blocks make an absolutely wonderful item frame. Just make sure all of your bark blocks face the same way, and then throw some panes inside of them, and you'll have a great looking and completely solid window frame. The new trapdoors can be paired with their same stair block to make an absolutely wonderful wooden bench. Or you can pair trapdoors, some signs, and a bed, really of any color, but I prefer white, to make a sleepy bench. This also looks a lot like a couch, but couches aren't usually found outside. I absolutely love to put these things alongside paths in my world, so I can sleep at pretty much any time, anywhere. Blue ice, when paired with packed ice, makes a wonderful frozen pond. Just get an even amount of both blocks and then kind of mix things up, and your pond will look really nice in no time. Do keep in mind the snow can fall on some of these ice blocks though, and stay there. So if you're building in a snowy biome, that could be a little annoying. Aha! The new buttons and pressure plates make absolutely wonderful path debris blocks. I particularly prefer the spruce variants, but jungle and dark oak do work as well. The pressure plates are totally up to you. Usually I would pass on the pressure plates, but they do add something to your road. The update aquatic added in stair variants for the prismarine blocks, and I believe the dark prismarine variant, when paired with a slab in the middle, makes an absolutely wonderful looking table. These things look great in hallways or even in some kind of office room in your base. You can also expand these things to make the table even more great, but I usually just do a thin, long table. Item frames are absolutely great for leaving tools on the floor in your forge. Why would you want to do this? Well, maybe for some decoration. You can also pair these frames with a pressure plate and then step on it to make the item frame disappear a little bit, but you do get this nasty animation and texture going on along the edge, so I don't really like that. Aha, nothing. Oh wait. I'm using item frames on the ceiling this time with some panes and then glowstone below or behind those frames to make some fancy looking office lights. You have to use your imagination here, but if you had a large building and then this over your lighting, you could also, of course, be using sea lanterns behind this thing. Your lights would look pretty fancy. Now, I am using terracotta in here as well because I find that the plain terracotta matches the back of the item frame very well. The update aquatic added the ability to place vines on multiple sides of one block. With that in mind, you can make some very nice looking bushes or piles of bushes with these vines and really just decorate with vines a whole lot better on your builds. In my opinion, the kelp blocks make an absolutely wonderful kitchen counter block. Kelp blocks also do make an interesting wall because of this line going up it, but that can get kind of expensive unless you have a large kelp farm. Don't forget about these kelp blocks though, because they are definitely interesting and can potentially have a whole lot of uses in your builds in the form of floors, ceilings, and again, even walls. If you have a tiny stream somewhere and you want to bridge over it, well, you're in luck. You can use the new trapdoors to make a wonderful looking small bridge that actually fits this small area. In my opinion, if one was to throw a slab in the middle here, the bridge would look a little thick and just absolutely unnecessary. But the trapdoors keep things nice and small. You can use any trapdoor variant and this should work pretty well. Dead corals make an absolutely wonderful dead plant as well because they are a dead plant. I feel like this works best in a desert or on a beach and when paired with some stone buttons for small rocks laying around. Spruce trapdoors in particular make an absolutely wonderful looking larger table. Of course, you can take just one trapdoor and one fence and make a small table, but you can really use these spruce trapdoors to make, again, a larger table that looks pretty nice. Aha! This is very similar to the Great Grian's barrel with a tap on it, but the 1.13 version of this thing. So I've created a barrel, and then on the front, we have a hook to create that little tap. I'm using stripped logs on the inside here to give the barrel some meat, and then some kind of furnace-looking thing on the bottom. In this case, these are dispensers, but furnaces facing each other would look perfectly fine. If you're at the point in the game where you have some end rods, you can go ahead and place these things upside down on a block. So do something like this, dig down and place an end rod on the ceiling of something, then remove that block and place a sea pickle on it for some kind of fancy candlestick or path marker. The sea pickle lines up with the bottom of the end rod like perfectly and looks really good. If you do it the other way around, it looks okay, but in my opinion, just not as good as this. And of course, keep in mind that the end rods do let off some light, so you actually have a working candle holder. The dead coral plants and blocks, when paired together, make an excellent Christmas present, but it might be a little late for those. So these also look like some kind of fancy, I suppose dead or maybe not dead plant. Now, this one only works from front on, but conduits make a wonderful looking drawer knob. But when you look at this thing from the side, the drawer knob illusion is really messed up. Dead coral, fans, or plants make wonderful cave decorations. I probably went a little overboard here on my coral fans, but adding some fans in or plants in here and there inside of a cave biome or something could really bring some life or death to your cave. Sticking with the dead coral block and dead coral fan combination for one more idea, here we have a fancy wall. This is some kind of wall that I would imagine seeing outside of an absolutely massive mansion, and this wall keeps people absolutely far away from that mansion. This is an interesting one, but as of right now, which is the 19W07A snapshot, seagrass will actually hold water. So if we go ahead and go over here and build this little area and then put some water in here and then of course some seagrass and grow the seagrass up, we can remove these blocks and have some standing water in here. Now this is a bug and absolutely looks unnatural, but you could use this mechanic to make a very interesting looking wall. Now you'll have to do something else up high, but down low this is just really cool looking, and you can cut through it and place blocks alongside of it. The water doesn't really update. Again, this is a bug, so I don't expect this to always work, but kind of interesting. Acacia trapdoors make absolutely wonderful vents. Go ahead and place some black concrete behind these vents and you have a vent that actually looks like it goes somewhere because black concrete is just so dark. Now, if you have a larger build and you're trying to get really fancy with things, you can go ahead and double up these trapdoors and maybe set up some kind of secret vent system or something cool like that. Going back to the spruce trapdoors for one more idea, and using some imagination as well, here we have a light beam. Sometimes lighting is a little difficult inside of builds, so you can go ahead and surround something like glowstone or sea lanterns with spruce trapdoors to make a support beam that could be in the middle of your build or just in your build somewhere that also doubles as a light source. So I would imagine having a whole room here completely filled in and everything, and then some beams every now and then. Of course, we'd want this in a larger room, but it would work and it would light up your room or at least the area around it pretty well. You could also attach these beams to a wall and that would work just as well. Because of all of the new wood variants in this update, floors are a whole lot easier to do. Instead of doing a plain birch wood floor, add in some stripped birch logs here and there, and then some buttons. I prefer going the same way as the wood, but you don't really have to do that to get your floor looking way fancier. I do like the top of the log showing as well, but that's totally up to you. This is of course going to work with each and every wood variant, and believe me, if you do something like this in your starter house or your awesome castle base, your floor is going to look a whole lot better and impress a whole lot more people. If you happen to have access to creative mode, these smooth stone blocks make an absolutely wonderful city light pole. I'm of course pairing these with some cobblestone walls and then some sea lanterns, and this is just totally a modern city, like completely. But unfortunately, you can't obtain these in 1.13 in survival, but I have a feeling that's going to change in the next update. Aha. And say goodbye to the chocolate bar and hello to the waffle. Aha. If you place some dark oak trapdoors in a square, you have an absolutely wonderful waffle that looks tasty. And the waffle concludes my 50 build or decoration ideas for you. I hope you can use at least one of these ideas in one of your builds somewhere. What's one building idea you have for me? Throw that down in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like and subscribe. All of my links, like links to my Twitter and my Discord server, are down in the description below. I'd absolutely love to see you in the Discord, and you should follow me on Twitter for updates. If you're interested in joining the Dangercraft patron server, check out my Patreon link down below. And if you're setting up a server and you'd like to save 25% off your first month, use code Waddles with CubedHost for that. Thank you very much for watching this video. I hope I helped you out. I hope I entertained you. Go have a good day. Goodbye, everybody. My name is Waddles, and I will see you next time.